Greetings, hello ladies and gentlemen, and today we're going to be taking a look at the new for 2020, almost 2021, PNSO Lambeosaurus. Audrey the Lambeosaurus, to be specific. Now, I am one who's always been game for new Hadrosaur figures, because they're very few and far in between, it seems, especially good ones. And this one really caught my eye, and a lot of people didn't like this one at all, and they really preferred the new Hadrosaurus from PNSO, which I did not like off the bat, because it has major proportional issues, even though I really like the colors on that one. But I am more understanding as to why people don't like this Lambeosaurus, and it's because the colors are really out there, and I understand that. But the main reason this one really spoke to me is because of how different it is. It still feels natural, and I really see what PNSO is going for. It's mainly just this white sort of mesh pattern across the body that I feel like could have been applied a little bit better, maybe had a wash over the whole thing that would really seal the color scheme together. But personally, in the end, it really doesn't bother me too much, and I still think this color scheme is really eye-catching, and this figure really makes my eyes dart to the ornithopod / Hadrosaur part of my collection. You have a really nice shade of green on this one, and I also like the slight airbrush of the orange going across the back. And of course the color on the crest on the head is gorgeous, I love that. And I really like the idea, of course, for this white pattern going down the body. I do feel like it could have been executed better, like I said, but it still doesn't bother me too much, and once again, I just like how striking and exotic this looks for a Hadrosaur figure. Now, a lot of people also said that this Lambeosaurus had major proportional issues, but after looking at some skeletals online, it's actually pretty good. It's pretty close to the skeletals I saw online. This one is obviously based off of Lambeosaurus lambii, based on the shaping of the crest. But my two biggest problems with this figure are the size of the feet and the hands. They feel very dainty, and also just the legs in general. The size of them tapers off very quickly. And I guess also along the back and down the tail, I feel like it could have been bulked up a little bit overall. There are some parts of the body that feel a little bit shrink-wrapped, a little bit on the emaciated side, but there are still worse figures out there. And overall, I think this is just a really solid depiction of this genus. Now, as far as sculptural details go, you know I reviewed their Spinosaurus, their new version of a Cian, recently on the channel, and that figure has some absolutely incredible detailing. And I have to say that this figure does kind of fall short in the detail department. I mainly think it's the glossy finish on the paint. You can see my light catching it. This is a very glossy figure, and I think that really detracts from what details are here. There are still some nice scales that I think overall complement the scale that this animal was replicated at here, but I feel like there could have been a little bit more. If you catch the light in just the right way, you can see what they were going for with this, you know, really small scalation pattern going all the way down the body, but I feel like it could have been a little more obvious and made this figure feel a little more detailed than it seems at times. There you can see the very tiny feet. There is paint on the claws, although I feel like it could be a little more obvious, and it seems like some of the paint may be rubbed off on my production version on a few of the claws. There are the very dainty front hands, which I feel like could definitely use a bit more bulk. And I think my favorite part detailing-wise is actually right around the neck area. You have a lot of really obvious, nice wrinkles and folds throughout the neck area on both sides of the animal, and it feels very natural around the neck area in general. Now, let's look at the head sculpt. Now, this figure has received the nickname Seahorse because a lot of people say that the snout is way too long. I think saying that the snout is way too long is a bit of an exaggeration with this one. It is long in comparison to most Lambeosaurus skulls that I've seen online, but. In one of the group chats I'm in on Instagram, I'm pretty sure someone posted a skull of one Lambeosaurus specimen that almost matched this one perfectly, and that skull could be the one that PNSO based this figure off of, but I can't find the picture again, so maybe I'm just remembering things wrong. But if any of you guys are aware of this individual, if it actually exists, or if I'm just going crazy, let me know in the comments and do enlighten me on that. Leaving the accuracy aside from it, I think it's a very aesthetically pleasing head sculpt, and I really like the eye done in the orange color as well. And I just think the head is very pretty and charming to look at overall. My favorite part of the entire figure, though, is just the way they did the crest. The crest feels very keratinous, almost like the crest of a hornbill or something. And it is actually quite sizable width-wise. It almost looks like it's hollowed out like a crest of a hornbill or a cassowary or something. And it's also very smooth to the touch and has a very glossy finish to it. And I do actually prefer really glossy look on the crest over the gloss over the rest of the body. I think it works much better for a display structure or something to bring attention to it on a figure like this. But yeah, I really think that covers my overall thoughts with this figure. I mean, I didn't really touch on posture because it's a very basic pose. I have nothing to complain about with it. But overall, it's not a perfect Hadrosaur figure, but it's a really solid one, and I think it's one of the more striking ones that's out on the market right now, so I do recommend it for people who are looking for new and interesting Hadrosaur figures to add to their collection. Because like I said, Hadrosaurs are few and far in between, figure-wise, at least for good ones. But anyway, in case you're wondering how large this one is, in terms of the length from the tip of the tail to the tip of the snout, we are looking at right about 9 inches, which is about 24 centimeters. And in terms of the highest point, which is actually the top of the crest here, we are looking at about 4 inches, which is about 10 centimeters. And for a quick comparison, here is the new PNSO Audrey the Lambeosaurus with the recently reviewed updated Essien the Spinosaurus. Now I think these two complement each other pretty nicely on the shelf for two new PNSO figures. I just prefer Essien overall because the amount of gorgeously sculpted detail that's just packed in on this figure for the overall size of this figure. And the Lambeosaurus is still very charming, and I appreciate the different color scheme that it has. So I think these two have different things going for them overall, but in the end, I do like the Spinosaurus better. I'm also biased because I like Spinosaurus, but I do also really like my Hadrosaurs. And before we end the video, here is the box for Audrey the Lambeosaurus. You can see that the production sample for the model that was photographed for the box actually has a much different gradient going on for the crest. I actually think I prefer the crest on the figure with just more of the fiery orange color going on, but I do like the rest of the color scheme much better on the box version. It just feels much more natural and much more detailed for a paint job. But I do understand also for cost reasons that they probably have to cut down on the number of colors or the different steps in the paint that went into this figure. And just like the Spinosaurus, this one does come with a little booklet as well. So let's get this out for a quick look. And just like Essien's booklet, half of it is in Chinese, half of it is in English. So you can even see that if my light isn't drowning it out. You can pause it and read this if you want to. I'm not gonna go through all of it, but there is a lot of cool information that they managed to pack into this figure. And they definitely put a lot into the overall presentation of it, and I really like the style of PNSO's boxes that they went for. And now this booklet doesn't want to go back into the box. There we go. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this review of PNSO's new Audrey the Lambeosaurus. Overall, I think this is a very striking figure and would make a great addition to anyone's Hadrosaur collection. Let me know what you think of this one down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you all in my next video. So take care, and bye-bye.